Okay. Anyhow, so I'm going to do all of a person's pictures, but I would like you to stay and watch the other person's pictures also, because you'll learn stuff from that as well. So, we're going to run through all the person's pictures, get all the comments for that person in one fell swoop. It's too difficult. There's too many pictures, to separate them because people have like 8 pictures. Okay.
After this, we won't have to go to the photography show.
Okay, let's see. Let's get it. Oh, and also what I did this time, instead of doing a PowerPoint, I'm going to do this in Picasa. So for Marty, that's great. He'll be able to see how the edits look in Picasa right away. But also, it's just a simple program. If someone suggests a crop, I can do it. If someone suggests to brighten it, I can do it. If I did it in Elements, it would take a lot longer to, show some of the more sophisticated editing. So we're just going to use Picasa. So the picture is not going to fill up the entire screen. It's just going to be like in the center. Okay. Share screen. Okay, so you should see a picture of a butterfly.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so these are Virginia's. So anybody can make a comment or ask me to try something, whatever you want to do.
A little more contrast on it.
I would go a
I
little
think
darker.
darker is, yeah, I think let's try a little darker.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Nice, yeah.
That gives more contrast. Mhm.
I would
Can it
take
be
down
sharpened a little bit more?
Probably not. I think that's because it's a big square. I think the
Okay.
actual picture is okay. Hold
guys.
on.
I would take down the
Are you
highlights
writing
a
this
bit.
down?
Okay. So
It's going to be another one. It's recorded.
okay. I don't think I can decrease highlights. I can only increase shadows in this. Yeah, it's just making the butterfly too dark.
Right.
Yeah.
I never use that highlights. If I want to go brighter,
Well,
I use fill
if
light.
something is too bright,
Can
and
you put a
lower
big,
highlights? It can bring it down so it's not a hot spot.
Yeah. Because the leaves are a little bit bright, but I don't think it's terrible. Okay.
But I don't think this highlights will let you bring it down and only let you
Right.
go lighter.
Right.
It's
Picasa.
What do you call it when you put you bring it in from I
A
forgot what
vignette.
you call it. A
A
vignette?
vignette.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Go ahead, Cesar. Virginia wants to talk.
Okay.
Yeah, now that you made the butterfly darker, it looks like it has 2 blotches on it, black blotches.
Here you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the one below it.
It's probably the butterfly, not you.
Yeah, I think it just looks like it's part of the butterfly design. I see like it's catching your eye because it's big. So it's just a suggestion. You don't have to do it. And you can just try a little bit. I did a lot. What they're suggesting that I put a vignette around the edges to bring your eye more to the butterfly, and you can certainly do that. This is in Picasa.
Well, we used Picasa for years, but it's not around anymore.
Well, I kept it. It just isn't supportive. If it doesn't work for some reason, they're not going to fix it for you. But if you still have it, I have it on a thumb drive.
Oh, I don't know if I still have it anymore. Okay, I have to look for it.
Look around. Otherwise,
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it now, but yeah, okay.
Okay. Otherwise, I can bring my thumb drive over one time and you can copy it off.
I should be able to find it somewhere. I got so many backups of things.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. So those are a few suggestions. You can take them or not. This is a square image and it's cropped appropriately.
Okay. Okay, save it and send it.
No, I deleted my things.
I don't know what Picasa does, but if I was doing this on elements, I would just play to see what, if you increase the clarity, what would happen, and increase the saturation a bit.
I can do saturation.
Just a little. No, yeah.
What's the difference when you saturate or when you boost? To me, it seems almost the same.
I don't know what boost is.
The saturation is making every color more, like more red, more blue. That's the original.
There's more detail in the red background
This
like
way.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, when in Picasa anyhow, when you're increasing the saturation, I don't think it really does anything.
Oh, it did. It totally covered up those little slots.
Well, if there's a thing for clarity, clarity would bring those out.
Yeah, not in Picasa. In Elements.
Okay.
Okay.
When you say clarity, you mean the dehazing
No,
program
there-
or
there-
something else?
there's actually a button called clarity that
Oh.
just sharpens it.
Any comments on this one?
It doesn't seem totally in focus.
Well,
Car-
it's
The car is not, the background is blurred, but that's fine.
Yeah.
The car doesn't seem very sharp.
yeah,
It's
I think
ICA.
I don't
yeah,
think
I
it
think
has
they're
to be,
both. I think they're both a little motion blur. There's a tiny
Right.
drop of motion blur in the car, and there's a lot of motion blur in the back.
right?
But I think that's the purpose, right, Virginia, to have
Yeah,
motion. Yeah.
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 I captured the car at the rate it was going, so it looked like it's standing still while it blurred the background.
Right.
Maybe crop off the top. There's a lot of black that you don't really need.
All right. Well,
Right, right.
this is an 11 by 14, so okay, let's see what happens. Okay, that cuts off a little bit off the top.
And side.
Yeah, it took a little drop off the top and a little drop off the back side. I think that makes the yellow bolder, which is nice.
It's better.
Yeah, so I kept it 11 by 14. I just drew the rectangle and it wound up just taking like a quarter of an inch off the back and like a half an inch off the top. Yeah, I like that
It's good that
cup.
you have room in front of the car. That's
Yeah,
correct
Yeah.
place to have the room.
yeah, that looks good. Okay.
That's nice.
Any comments on this one?
I think it's a great picture.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I
Yeah.
don't know that it needs anything.
Yeah.
I
think it
just-
looks-
If you
want to-
darken it a little bit, maybe the black rail would get blacker.
But the clouds will get, the blue sky will
Muddy.
get darker. And the gray in the clouds will get muddy. I just wonder if, just if you want to look at it, it looks beautiful here, but if you wanted to look at it in black and white too. I think they both work, so.
Yeah, I did black and white and then I did a little bit of contrast. I think the
Yeah.
blue is just so beautiful.
Yeah, I like color.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your blue again.
Like it the way it is.
Yeah,
Who's it that?
Virginia.
Oh,
Good one,
Beautiful.
Virginia, I like it.
Nice.
That's just fun. That was from the neon shoot that we did. Remember we did neon lights?
Yeah, in Delray.
Yeah. Any comments on this one? I like the fact that you can see all the way through to the window and you can see the tree in the back and it's all sharp back there.
I don't know if you need the pipes on the ceiling.
The thing that I see is the vertical, the light at the bottom, it's not, you would think that should be straightened.
You're talking about this?
Yeah, I mean, it just,
I think it's a gooseneck. Light,
No.
no?
Let me see
No,
what,
Hanging.
it's hanging from the ceiling.
okay, so I can make that a little straighter.
that's good.
Okay.
Wow, that Picasso is really something.
Yeah. That's why a lot of us still use it. There's some stuff in it that's really good. Somebody made a comment about the stuff on the ceiling. How would you
Yeah.
actually get rid of that? You'd have to crop it off.
I don't think it matters. It's
Yeah.
just part of, your eye doesn't go there. It's just part of the picture.
If you wanted to get rid of something, it'd be that outlet where your cursor is.
Oh, right here, an extension cord. Look at that. I didn't even notice that before.
I don't think it matters. I think this is a kind of
The eye is drawn
street
towards
shot.
the neon.
Yeah, you're right. The eye is joined to the neon. It's very
Even
much a
so,
street
yeah,
shot.
Some of it still looks like it's off at an angle. So
So
I don't know if
yes.
straightening it helps.
Absolutely. No, something will be off at an angle because the whole thing is off at an angle. But what you do is you pick one thing that like you wouldn't pick one of these lines because those are so crooked and they're so much part of where you were standing when you took it. But the fact that somebody actually noticed this wire means that someone else might notice it, so it should be. And
Okay.
making that
It-
straight made
it-
this straight as well.
Yeah, the wire has to be straight because it's a single wire and gravity would, draw
Right.
the weight of that light to hang straight down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
would like to apologize if I can cut in. I had an air conditioning problem with the guy in my
Oh.
garage. So
Oh.
that's Scott. So whose pictures are we looking at now?
These are Virginia's pictures. We're
Okay.
almost done with her.
Okay.
No, that's
Okay, now these are going to be Zev's.
Okay.
I don't like the way her head is cut off.
To him.
It's not a her. It's a
To
head.
him.
Oh, to him, sorry.
Is there a little more room above to perhaps just bring that crop on the top out a little bit?
I
No.
doubt it.
Okay. And the other thing is on the right side, you've got a half of a body all up in that back. So I would bring the right side in a little bit.
Right, but and then lose some of the bottom. It's a square.
Did you do it?
No, no, that's the price, the estimate.
All right, so this is a square crop.
I went for an estimate.
So
Yeah.
what Ann is suggesting is to lose the kid that's on the side. So to do that, you'd also lose some of the bottom, which is not a problem. And that would be the crop.
Now it needs straightening.
Yeah, it does. But you might lose more of the top of her head.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. And square
That's
shots
my
are okay.
grandson. My grandson.
And square shots,
We almost gave you a granddaughter.
square shots are okay for our submission?
Yes,
Yeah. I think you said square, right?
yes.
11 by 14 are square. Okay, got it.
How's this look? I got rid of all of this stuff. But it's not a square now. I
Oh,
played with
you're
it.
playing with it on your end. Just
Yeah.
I would go back. I know you have originals on all of these things. So if you
Yeah,
just see if there's more hair on the original,
okay.
not such a close thing. That'll be better.
Yeah, I don't think, let's see.
What did you want?
He
Oh,
wants
more hair.
More hair.
Well, there is no more here
Okay,
where the picture was taken.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
hair.
okay.
No.
We could invent some.
We can add some hair. Okay, next one, butterfly. Final butterfly.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Finally, I've been working on it for 20 minutes.
We missed you, Ira.
Okay.
What
Okay,
was
I
the
gotta go,
problem?
sir.
My computer audio is not working, so I'm putting it on the phone.
Okay, Zev and Virginia, if you have to leave, we're recording this. So if you don't get to hear it, you just be able to do it after your bocce thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So stay as
Yeah,
long
this
as you
is-
can.
So,
It needs a little more contrast. Oh, look, a little flat.
Do my, do what?
Oh, look at that. Look at what
Oh.
happened when I make it darker. Look at the black on the butterfly.
Yeah,
How do I
better.
make it darker in
Elements.
elements?
Oh, it's in, I'll tell you. I'll send you an email. It's very easy. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
under one of the buttons.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit just again, remember when we talked about having a light hand. You don't want to make it super dark, just a little bit darker and maybe a little more contrasty.
I think I would take off some from the bottom and some from the right.
They
The
like,
right or the left? I
they're
want
always,
the yellow.
yeah, they want this yellow in here. We had this conversation because this picture
Oh,
is,
okay.
there's a lot more in this picture over here. With leaves and stuff like that. So this was a crop that both of them really liked,
Okay.
right?
contrast. Better.
Yeah, that made a big difference. You see the difference, Zev? I just clicked
Yeah.
on contrast.
Oh,
So
okay.
what did you do?
Well, it was contrast, but I'll send you an email. It's all under one button in Elements called Enhance. There's contrast, brightness, darkness, everything is right there that you could just play with them and take you just a minute.
I would try all three of those on that line to see which one looks best.
Okay, so this is I'm Feeling Lucky.
So in elements is under enhance,
Yeah, they're under Enhance.
auto contrast. There you go. Didn't seem to make any difference. Okay.
But if you
So
go,
making it lighter. Okay.
if you go under enhance, instead of auto contrast, there's a thing that says lighting. And if you click on that, one of the things is contrast and you could adjust it. So you could adjust it to where you want it, not automatically.
Auto.
Just go, but
Everything is-
it's right below auto
Oh, I
contrast.
see it. I see it.
Says lighting,
Shadow, brightness, and contrast.
right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, here they all are. Okay.
Yeah, and they're very powerful. So you'll be able to really
Okay.
play with those.
Okay. Okay, I guess we gotta go. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Welcome.
We got 2 minutes. What Virginia said we
Okay.
got 2 minutes.
I like this one. Any comments on this one?
I think it needs to be straightened.
Really?
Which one?
Where?
We
Yeah,
tried,
the
we couldn't
top
do it.
looks straight.
If I what would you make straighter?
The blue.
It's a
No, the
tree.
yellow is straight, the white lines are straight.
Right. I think
The
if you,
blue just looks crooked.
yeah, if you tackle the blue,
Mhm.
look at what
Yeah.
happens to the
And
white.
the whole thing's leaning.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
The bottom crooked. And the tree looks like it's leaning. That's why
Yeah.
we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are you sure it's okay with you?
Yeah, because see, these are so dominant, these white lines, that I think if you, I can see what you're saying, Doris, but I think if you mess with that, these just look really bad.
okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
Is this
It's
the
a Christmas-
Christmas tree?
Yeah, Christmas tree in Del Rey, yeah.
At Old
Very
School
clever,
Square.
very original.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I honestly think when you're doing things like that with movement, it doesn't really matter if it's straight. It's kind of the effect of the movement, which is beautiful.
Really nice.
Thank you. Do I have any more? Yeah, here we go.
This is your last one.
That's the one in Mexico, yeah.
It's basically a snapshot. It's a pretty snapshot. I want to see what this one looks like in black and white. Nope.
You lose all the pretty
Yeah,
colors.
yeah, no, nope, nope, nope.
Maybe contrast or
See, I would want a little bit more light on her face, and you can't do that with Picasso. Because if
What-
you,
I don't know what 11 by 14 does to it, but if you cropped off a lot of the right,
I'm thinking the same thing, Dave. It's gotta come in.
I
from-
agree. I
like
agree.
like all the way to her back
She's
almost.
too centered, yeah,
And
as we say.
but you don't like the rugs on the right?
well,
Well,
it's not a question of that. It's a question of the photograph, not whether I like the rugs or.
If I lighten it up, it makes some of the other things too light.
right, I know, you would have to do the harnessing thing that we talked about, you know, where you,
See,
That's a better composition the way that is.
yeah, it puts the emphasis on her.
yeah,
The
With
beauty
a lot of nice stuff still on the walls.
in
the
Lightroom,
windows.
you can select a subject and it will just find her. And then you can just use that to invert it, and then you can reduce the light coming in, from the exposure in the back, or increase the exposure on her. But that's a feature in Lightroom.
and Photoshop elements, same thing.
Oh, it's in Elements too?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's hard. You have to like go all around the person and just isolate out. That's a time consuming thing. You'd have to want to be invested in doing that.
The
Um,
advantage of Lightroom is you just say subject and it will find her.
I know, I saw somebody do that. Oh, Eileen did that with a flower. That was amazing.
Can
She
you make
was-
the background the subject?
Yeah, you just
just
make
invert it.
a second mask and invert it, and you can reduce the exposure. I mean, it's really a snap.
I think you can actually do it in Snapseed as well. I think there's a lot of these programs that have that kind of thing where you touch an area and that area becomes masked. So when you affect the rest of it, it doesn't affect that part. So, okay. These are Donna's.
That's mine, I think.
Thank you,
No,
everybody.
this is, thank you. Good luck at Bocce.
Take care.
That's actually where I'm going to, but
Okay.
I'll wait for.
All right. This is Donna's,
Okay.
Doris. You do have
All right,
something,
I
but this is
have one
Donna's.
just like it.
Yeah, you do.
Well, none of them are perfect.
Well, they were so beautiful.
One of mine is perfect, but that's it.
Can I just ask you before we go?
Yes.
You had 3 photos from me, but I sent you 5. One of them was the guitar, the hotel. And somebody told me that they really liked it from last year, so I must have submitted it last year and I can't send it this year.
You didn't
Is that
send it.
correct?
No, you can submit anything that didn't win anything. You
Yeah, I
can
don't
resubmit.
remember if it won. I don't remember
Okay.
if it won.
All right. I can find that out for you if you're interested, but I did not get a picture of the guitar to share in this session.
But I sent you 5.
No,
sent you
no,
5
it wasn't the guitar. I don't think we did the guitar.
Okay, not to worry.
Here,
We're gonna move
1,
on.
2, 3, 4, 5. You sent me 5 and I
That's
showed
their
5.
fault. No
Those-
guitar there.
Those are your 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Zev.
Right.
Okay, all right. thank you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, well, I can still listen while I'm driving.
Of course you
Okay,
can.
Let me just turn myself off here.
Let
Okay.
me just say one thing before I forget, because I wanted to do that. I'm going to stop the share for a minute because I know that Donna has to leave, and I'll go back into it in a second. Okay. I wanted to show you what the pictures look like.
Virginia.
Okay. So this is a picture on a mat. I know it's hard to see. I'm sorry. I thought this would be really easy. How do I make it? I haven't done this in
Because you're
so long. so-
blurring, don't
No,
blur
no,
your
no.
Get rid
background.
of your background.
No, you don't want to see my office.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
that's,
turn-
that's what's
But that's
affecting the
what's
pictures.
blurring.
I
the
know
That's
that.
what's
I'm
blurred.
just gonna make it a
Yes.
speaker one first. Okay. So how does it, why is it showing David if I'm the one that's speaking?
It's showing you.
I see you.
Showing you.
Oh, okay. Can you see the back of the print?
It's backwards.
I know,
Bring
that
it
on purpose.
Closer to
Can't see
you
it
and away from
clearly.
the camera.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not clear. It's
Okay.
all blurry, maybe because of the background.
All right. If these are illustrated in the directions, I just wanted to show you, forget exactly sharpness. You see how this label is sticking up above the top of the picture? I just want to show you how that happens, because you make the label on a hard background. That part of the hard part is below the line of the picture, and some of it is above. And the part that's above has your name on it or the name of the picture. And this part is taped down here and makes it so that this can stand up. Right? I'll take some more pictures of this and I'll send it to you, but there are, there's clear over there.
That's all in the flyer.
Yes, it's all in the flyer, but for someone that's never been to the show or seen
Thanks.
how it actually looks, like
Mhm.
Donna, I thought that would be important. But I can always,
Yeah.
But the flyer has the fractions or the.
right. But if you have
I-
trouble understanding it, you can come and pick up a picture from me and take it home and copy.
Save some cardboard, like from an Amazon box, and you cut it up and have nice backing for your
Or a
labels.
file card works, or a piece of photo paper. All right, let's go back to the share screen. Sorry. Okay, so now we're back to Donna's picture.
It's got personality.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Yeah, the colors are beautiful. The cropping is beautiful. I don't know if I would do anything to the photo. Yeah,
Do you,
narrow depth of field.
okay, so the big question is it 11 by 14? So that's the size print you need to make.
Or 12 by 12.
Right.
Well,
But
I
I'm
would think-
Come down a little. I think the bottom is more important than all the gray on the top.
Okay, so what Doris is saying is when you have a crop, you might have to get rid of some of the picture. In this case, there's a little
do it from
bit,
the top.
right. So what you do is then depending on what kind of cropping thing you're using, you then move it down and
Okay.
lose part of the top. And there you go. That's 11 by 14.
Better.
Very nice.
Okay. All right, next one.
The bird's a little bit too centered. You need to take off some from the left.
Okay, that's also an 11 by 14 crop, and I can move it that
That's-
way.
Mhm. That's
Beautiful.
nice.
The only thing I question is the upper left, the cloud that's up there. It might be distracting. You might want to get rid of that cloud.
It's
That
not
little
cloud, it's a reflection off the water.
Yeah, because there's more of it over
Okay.
here.
Well, the one on the upper left, I think, is a little bit annoying.
Okay.
Okay, so when I cropped it, I could have just started right under that
Well, that's true.
and gone over
Oh.
here like this.
Yeah, that's good.
I think he can take a little off the bottom.
And
Yeah.
lose some of that.
I don't think all of that is needed or has value, so to speak. Yeah,
It seems though that you see a lot of detail in the body of the bird, but the head and the neck are, I don't know if you'd say blurry or just not in as sharp focus as the rest of
Tail.
the body.
was it shot with an iPhone?
This was an iPhone, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. It loses a little detail there.
Can you sharpen it?
I think it already looks over sharpened.
Yeah.
Maybe I,
Can I just suggest that to me, it looks like a painterly effect?
Yeah,
That it's not necessarily looking realistic. It looks a little painterly, which I think is a nice look. I mean, the both the feathers and the head, but that's just me.
And that's actually something that if you had any kind of software, you could try different software. Like if you have Snapseed or in the phone, there are some different special effects you might want to
Yeah.
try, just see what happens.
all right, I'll play with it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Okay. Oh, this is so beautiful.
Very
Any com-
pretty.
Beautiful.
It's hard to believe that that blue sky was reflected so blue in the water.
Well, this is in New Zealand and it was called Mirror Lake.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Certainly is. Any comments on this one?
Very pretty.
Okay. And is that an 11 by 14? Let's just see what this one looks like. Okay, again, you have to lose a little of that. So you have to decide, do you lose it from the left side or do you lose it from the right side? And
I
that's
would
your,
use it from the left.
yeah,
That's
From
better.
the-
right. There's like nothing special over here.
Right.
And there's some nice little details over here. So there you go. Okay, next. Oh, these guys are so cute.
Oh, that isn't me. No.
Oh,
That's mine.
No, it's Donna's.
I'm gonna have to run to the meeting. Thank you very much. I'll
Okay,
watch-
all right.
Okay, bye-bye.
No,
Bye.
this is mine.
Nope.
It says Fuji.
Yeah, it isn't mine. No.
Oh, then I labeled
That's-
it wrong.
Oh,
okay.
okay. I did submit two birds, just.
I know that
to
it's the next
see
one.
Which one was better?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's the
thanks.
next one.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, the problem is the sun is on half of his face and not on the other half, but I'm not sure if I can just darken a piece of it.
Give a
But
little
to
more
me, it looks
contrast
like
to it.
he's peeking out. I don't really mind the shadow.
I don't either. I think if you contrasted it, you'd even
Yeah.
get a little more shadow, which would be fine.
Yeah, it looks like he's
Yeah.
peeking out.
Oh yeah, look
from-
at that. Watch
Better.
the contrast. That's nice. It's a teeny little bit.
Okay, good. That's easy.
I would take some off the left side.
what
And
about the top?
I'd take it from the top left corner down and in.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, that's your 11 by 14. Yeah, now he really looks like he's peeking out. Because there's like more of this very subtle shadow up here that makes him really peek out. Cute. Okay. These are Donna's other ones.
Okay.
Would you have her submit both, this one and the other?
No. I like this one, to be honest with you. There's a lot of detail in here. I love
The
the,
eyes are sharper on this one, you can see.
Yeah.
yeah. I love the white in the feathers and in the body, there's touches of other colors.
Okay. Let's crop this one.
I have an alert for everybody.
Yeah.
The
Right.
water fountain's been removed.
Oh, where'd you see that? There's something on the internet?
It just came across.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Okay, so in order to make this 11 by 14, I have to take off some of the top. I'm
I don't
just
think that
wondering,
affects it at all. I think it makes it better.
okay, what
You've got
about,
to put
should
more
we,
on the birds.
Should we take off anything on the left side or leave all that breathing room? And
would
what do you
leave
think?
it.
Leave it?
I don't know. I missed you on that one. I was answering somebody.
That's right. I was just wondering whether we should take off a little bit on the left side, but I don't not feel strongly about that.
That would center it too much.
Yeah, I think that's a good point,
I don't,
Marty.
yeah, you have to leave it one side or the other. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's very pretty. And yes, so this one rather than the other one. Okay, now these are Brenda's. Is that a plant?
Like
Plastic?
paper.
I think it was a design. I don't think it was a
Yeah.
plant.
Sculpture.
Like a sculpture, like a metal
sculpture, yeah.
a metal sculpture.
Yeah, and I don't like that white thing, that white bar right there.
This.
Yeah,
Well, first of all, it's not straight. So
yeah.
let's see what happens, what we lose when we straighten it.
Brenda, you don't, are you able to change a background or not?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. After the class of Snapseed, I may.
All I would suggest is, if you could, what I think is really interesting is the kind of reflections in the sculpture and the different shades. And it's not sharp, but it's not supposed to be. I think the sculpture's interesting, that if you could eliminate some of the plants, I think that would be great.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be able to. It's probably hard, but
Yeah.
What about just using a piece of it as an abstract?
right.
To
Try
me,
cropping out that white bar in the back, see what happens.
Well, let's see what happens if I
If
do
that's
this.
an abstract.
I like that, Adrian.
I
Yeah.
just try to not get the
way
plant.
too much information the other way. Simplicity here.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
very
that's
pretty.
Nice. That's pretty.
You see what I did, Brenda?
Yes, I do.
I just took a piece of it.
Uh-huh.
You could take any piece of it and you could rotate it a little bit and
Uh-huh.
And you can turn it upside down or sideways or whatever.
Yeah, that's better because there was some white lines at the bottom that were bothering me and now they're gone.
yeah, I would play with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Great,
lots,
great.
yeah, there's lots of pictures inside that picture.
What are you doing?
There's a whole there's a vertical here. Whoops, right over there with all those ridges. Look at that. You'd have to deal with that though, the reflection, but you could, but that's easy to deal with.
I kind of like the reflection. I think it adds something to it, adds dimension.
Well, I like this part, but
Uh-huh.
this
Yeah, that
this
line is just might to be distracting. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like this one the best.
That
Yeah.
adds depth to it.
But you can take down the whiteness without eliminating it.
right.
Uh-huh.
Could do that. But anyhow,
Well,
I would,
play around with it. You've got a lot of options there.
Okay.
yeah. And
On-
down
on
over
the
here
right
also.
side, you also have, on the right side, you have it also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Definitely worth working with.
Okay.
Pretty. It's very centered. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. This is it's water. It's a water element. Look what's coming down from the back.
Are the trees distracting or do they add a frame?
Distracting. Make it a vertical and cut the trees maybe. Yeah, that might do it.
With the one tree. Oh, yeah. That's a
Yeah, yeah.
completely different picture. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Look what it did to all these greenery things here.
Uh-huh. And the greenery does frame,
Yeah, the wall,
bricks there, yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's a definite possibility.
yeah. And now there's so much more to see back here.
You see the detail in the water flow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very cool.
The important thing is that you have plenty of pixels to work with. This was an 11.2 megabyte.
Can I just throw out one other idea?
Go.
If you made this a horizontal shot, you can cut off the bottom half and you'd have a really pretty picture too.
I would cut the bottom half off too, Dave.
But then just of the middle between the trees, like that kind of
No, no.
Turn it around.
Just
Too
go
much.
back to where you were.
Turn it 90 degrees.
Are you talking about turning the picture?
No. Just go back to where
Cutting
you
off
were
the
first.
bottom.
There's your
Okay,
crop.
so if I may not have the exact right dimensions, but if you cut off the bottom half of this, it looks like it would almost be 11 by 14 with the vertical, with the horizontal on the top.
All right. So, but the thing is, you got to watch. I'm going to, this will be the final thing we do, but you have to save it. Okay. And now I'll go back in and
Do it
recrop.
from the upper left corner and. Yep. I mean, to me, that's a better,
Much
it's
better.
more
You can
about the
see the
shape.
actual water flow.
Yep.
That's
and you
pretty.
see the
And
shape.
the trees are gone.
No, there's still a
Amazing
tree-
what you
there's
could
still
do.
a tree there.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
That doesn't bother.
It really turned the picture into something quite beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I
I
like
think
it.
that's the point, is you play around with it. You keep your original and just keep playing.
Right. The only thing is that as you used up more and more pixels, the detail in here is becoming degraded.
Yeah.
It's not sharp anymore in the background. But just so you know, Brenda, there's pictures inside pictures inside pictures. I mean, now I can see there's stuff inside this trough up
Mhm.
there, and you could see all this water coming down. Yeah. Okay.
Compared to the other ones, it doesn't have much, I don't think.
Well, again, there's something nice about the explosion, kind of in the middle one. I just wonder if there isn't something, yeah, something in there, and maybe
Wow.
it's really cool looking, and maybe if you put one of the Snapseed filters lightly on it,
Uh-huh.
it would be really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you could definitely do that.
I might even look at not having the entire full circle of that flower in the frame. I might
Right.
take a crop from a corner and cut off part of that big, huge circle. I
Right,
don't know what kind of
right.
pixels you have left, but yeah, something like that.
Or move it around and see where the
It's
most,
too scented. I bring it, yeah.
it's kind of neat having, look at what happens to your eye. Look at that.
I like that.
Look at what happens to the white, this part of the flower. As I move, the crop around, it becomes brighter. It doesn't really become brighter. It just looks brighter.
Well, it's against the black.
Right,
That's,
exactly.
That's where I would go with it. Somewhere
Yeah.
along that
Yeah.
line.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You don't need the rest of that circle of flower. You
Yep.
don't.
Yep.
And it brings out all the detail in the middle, which is kind of pretty, those green.
Yeah, and I made it a little sharper.
And it really feels like it's coming at you.
Yeah.
And there's
Then you have,
dimension to those.
then you have to clone or somehow get rid of the upper right.
You're talking about right here.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Clone it out or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And what I did here is I saturated it just a drop and I sharpened it just a drop. So it's just something else that you can try and see.
Makes it pop.
Yep. Maybe just a little drop darker. I wanted to make the green a little bit darker. A little more vibrant. Wonder what this does. No.
Changing
Yeah.
the color. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Good ideas for you, Bren.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is Brenda's also.
I don't like the butterfly's wing. It looks like it's.
Yeah, this butterfly is dying. See
He had
all
a
of that?
fight. He had
Yeah.
a fight.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can't.
no.
Yeah, it's too
But,
scrappy.
but Brenda,
Yeah.
again, see what it looks like when you put a filter on it, because it may have a different effect. I love the color, the orange and the black against the green, the light green. And when you put an effect on it, those white spots may look like brush strokes or
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
So just take a look at it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
okay. Thank you.
Just wanted to see whether there were any here that.
Is there too much on the left that I could get rid of a bit or no?
Well, you have to work with the butterfly first and then worry about the rest.
Okay,
If the butterfly
Yeah.
doesn't work, the rest won't work.
Yeah,
okay.
the dead leaf isn't good. A few
Yeah,
dead leaves
in
at
here.
the
and
bottom.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right here.
Bottom, yeah.
But that again, like they're saying, it might just all disappear in a special effect.
okay.
It's not sharp.
No,
No, it's
And
all
it
washed
also
out.
has dead parts of the wings, so that's a no. And I don't think you really could do anything with that. That's just
No.
not sharp.
You-
He's precious.
Yeah.
Is that an IKEA elephant? I have one in gray. This one looks blue.
I don't know, but I just like the expression on the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love his expression. His eyes are great. I just wonder if you don't come in closer on his face, you don't have to see so much of the elephant. It doesn't matter what kind of animal it is. It
Mhm.
just itself.
Drop it from the bottom left.
Oh, wait.
Or that.
That's a square. Let me do an 11 by 14.
I hate 11 by 14. Just saying. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Me too.
You and Carl.
Just literally wrecks us. 3/4
Hold
of my
on.
pictures I can't submit. Stupid.
And can you sharpen it?
Mm,
I don't think you
I
want
don't know,
to
you-
sharpen his face.
I
Yeah.
don't like the elephant's eye.
Oh, right there.
Uh-huh.
Wonder if you have the skill to brighten the eyes of here.
But that
Yeah.
elephant now grosses me out with the eye.
He needs an eye replacement
Yes.
surgery.
Why did I do that? Is it that you thought well, then if I do it there, then the white thing is like sticking out.
Yeah,
Right.
I think a few of the others that
I
I
think
have
that's
have more
good.
possibilities.
Try this.
Better.
Yeah, but I think his expression is so great.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you see the lights in his eyes too.
This is
Beautiful
better.
boy.
Can you twist that? Can you go back to the original for a second? I just wanted, you can't. I was looking for a little angle, a little more of an
Oh,
angle.
wait a minute. I didn't mean to do that. Okay.
All right, I'm looking for the same shot that we just saw, but I'm looking for it to just turn clockwise a little bit, just a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
just a touch, that's it. And now
Yep.
crop it from there.
yep,
Mhm.
So he's like leaning into the edge.
yep.
Yeah,
That's great.
take away the rest of the eye.
Right, you can clone it out.
Yeah,
You can
that's
removal
Yeah.
it out. But there's less of the leather back behind his head too, which to me took away from the softness of his face, but
okay. Things for you to do with that one. And this is Brenda's last one.
Again, if you want to use this, I'd go in really tight on it. You have beautiful
Right.
texture in the petals, almost an abstract, but otherwise, it doesn't have a real focus yet.
No,
too busy, too much information. That's just distracting. Yeah, well, that's getting closer.
I don't know that you need to see the edges, but that's just me.
I like all of what's going on in the middle there with the detail.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think there's something nice in that. It kind of reminds me, what's that artist who did the flowers?
Georgia O'Keeffe.
George O'Keeffe,
Joe
yeah.
Keefe, yeah. I think if you played around with the contrast a little in this, you might want to look at a filter to go with it, but there's a lot of nice texture in it. And the stamen is pretty sharp, so.
Yeah. I mean, this, you could stay in here a long time. Look at what's going on over here. Look at this. And the darkness in here. A lot of different kinds of textures all over the place. Yeah, I would play with that, like he said. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, these are Lorraine's. Lorraine, this came in really tiny. I didn't realize that. I thought it would be okay, but just know that. We can still look at it, but whatever you sent me is 12 kilobytes, which is, you can't even make a print out of that. So you have to
Okay.
find out where your original is and why that happened.
Yeah.
But let's comment on it anyhow.
Well, obviously, the top right has to go to the gray. Wonder if you could put a tint in that white. That white is overpowering. Wonder if you could tint it with another color.
Do you do Snapseed, Lorraine?
No.
Barbara Bader can help you with this. See if she has
You
some
have to do
time.
Snapseed on your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
a,
like to
it's
work
a,
with my iPhone. It's hard for me to see the stuff.
oh, okay.
I would try to boost the color.
The original that I have is much brighter. I don't know why it's coming out so washed out.
Because it's so small.
Yeah, because it's so small.
And tomatoes aren't quite ripe.
There we go.
Oh, look at, go back and had a pair of eyes in there.
I don't know what just happened to this picture. I did not do that. That is so weird. I'm trying to undo it. It's not, doesn't give me an undo. Very weird. Up on the top, it's still fine. See it up here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
All right.
Very weird. We'll go to the next one.
Came in the
Awesome.
same way, small.
Yeah.
There were 3 of them like that.
Yeah.
If you told me I would have resent them.
I know. I didn't notice that till just now.
They were
'cause I-
like all the pictures I used to get from people for the Zoom show.
Right. Yeah. I'm
There's
sure your
someone-
original is much better than that.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
That's very pretty, like a bridal bouquet on a black background. It bothers me that that's cut off.
Yeah. See if if you go back to the original, when you look at it, if it has more flower up here, right
Mhm.
here.
It bothers me that it's up the center. I'd have to turn that or spin it. I'd have to move that. That just doesn't work for me there. But then you're gonna lose something, so
Yeah.
yeah,
But
so
I
it
think
depends
it's
upon what you're looking
okay. Anne, I think it's okay if you crop it in a little,
Yeah, I think you're right.
because I think it makes it more interesting.
You're right. It's hard to see this. It's so
Yeah.
Adrian, can you turn it 90 degrees?
Mm.
no.
Well, to do that, you gotta crop a lot closer.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I would love to see, if you send me the original, Lorraine, I'll
Okay.
look at that for you. Because I want to
Okay.
see how much detail is in here.
Mhm.
It looks like a lot, but I can't tell.
And that's the same thing.
Yeah. But it's sharp and it's got a lot of detail. I think the picture is probably fine. The original.
And the other two I sent you should be okay in the size, but.
Okay.
Because I sent.
I don't know your skill level, but the tree coming out of his head is annoying.
Do you have any software programs like Elements or anything?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Because this, you can take that right out. There's a lot of detail in him.
Also needs more, I think a little more contrast too.
Again, I would make this a horizontal shot. So you lose kind of the air conditioner or whatever's in the background.
Oh, wait, I have to get to
The generator.
There you go.
If you put it in a square, you might lose it too. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's better because
Better.
whatever's back there, you can't tell what it is anymore. Well, look at his hand. There's a lot of detail on him.
Color.
I'm just making it a little darker to see if I get more detail in the face and in the leaves. And I think that's better.
It is.
Yeah.
And there's still a little light in the eye, which is nice.
I would come in a little bit more, take off his body and come in a little bit more of the head. And then, because it's too close to the right, and by cropping it a little tighter, you might be able to give the appearance of more room on the right of the picture.
Do you want to try it as a square?
Sure, a square one basically focused on the face.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. I would come in even tighter if you have if you can.
Tighter from where, Ira? The back?
Well, I like the eyes and all the upper right and right and come up from the bottom.
Oh, wait, this lost the square. Here we go. Like that?
Come up a little bit more from the bottom. There you go.
I think this got too important. That
Yeah,
leaf.
you're right. Yeah.
I also think there's some nice
I
texture.
think I
in
like
the
it with
body.
more body in it.
Yeah, I was just saying that this got more important. I like this whole area here, I find fascinating, and all the detail in here and all these guys. There's a lot of stuff to look at.
Things that I'm trying to avoid is what I'm trying to work with is it's too close to the right of the picture.
Right.
And by taking it up a little bit closer, you actually give more space to the right. But I don't know. Maybe take it above that leaf.
No, then you're going to lose too much of the arm.
That's true.
Can't really. That's not terrible. You can actually see his expression now.
But I sort of like the way his body came out of the hedges.
Yeah. I mean, it's your
Actually,
picture.
I was
So
flipping my hedges and I didn't see the face, and I said, "Wow, these leaves look funny."
oh my God.
And he was
That-
just the color of the plant.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. That would have been really creepy.
Mhm.
So just play with it. It's your picture, so it should be what you want it to look like. But do you see what I was saying? He wanted
Right.
more here. You know, if this
Yeah.
is not the original and you have the original, you might have more out here. Just so it looks like he's moving on, he's moving on this nice diagonal. And so what he was trying to do is artificially create more here.
Right.
Background's too bright.
Well, unless she had really good software, there's nothing she can do about it. You could have less of it. We could try making it a vertical with less background. Let's see what happens.
You could vignette it.
Yep, wait, I'll do that. That's definitely better.
Personally, I don't think a vignette works on
Yeah.
this. I think the bright colors against the stark white, at least is a look.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you have this breaking it up, these lines. So it makes a little bit of texture and you have this part. So, but I
As
think
a
it
gen-
definitely helps it to cut off some of the white.
As a general rule, if you vignette, you have to be gentle with it.
Yeah.
You can overdo it very easily.
Yeah, especially on all this white. So, do you see what that did, Lorraine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of the brightness away. I think they're cute. There's some detail in here that's really nice. And even here. Okay, these are Marty's.
Looks like it needs a little more oomph to it. It's a little flat.
Okay, that's a little more contrast. And a little highlights. And a little sharpening. That's quite different.
Yes, it is.
And it's Picasso, Marty.
I know.
You can do all this.
I've been working on it.
Okay, so contrast, bright highlights, not fill light. Highlights just makes a little glow and then a little bit of sharpening. And that's completely different. I'll send it back so you can see what it looks like. See how soft it is?
Yeah.
Way better the other way, right? So contrast, sharpen, brightness, or highlights. Contrast, highlights, sharpen. Would you do anything else to this, guys?
I don't know, again, I don't know what the 11 by 14 would do, but if you could crop it so you could crop off that screw on the right in the tree, wherever it is.
Right here?
Yeah,
The only problem is that that's gonna bring the whole edge, like if you do a horizontal you're talking about,
yeah.
it's gonna make the head really close to the edge.
So,
Oh, it's not too bad.
I don't know, because he's going downhill. I feel like he's gonna like ram into it. Wonder what happens if you make him,
What if you flipped them all the way around? and
that's
flipped
what
them-
I'm thinking. I was just saying, wonder if you make him. All right, hold on. Let's get rid of the crop for a
Standing
minute.
up straight.
Just spin them.
Spin him a whole bunch or just make him,
Spin them all the way. No, just flip, yeah.
no. Which direction would you spin him in?
I can't quite, I can't do this from where you are, from where it's,
The
All right.
first one.
no, it doesn't work. I probably, I don't know that his wing offers all that much to it anyway. It's really the detail of the eye, the face, the beak, and the color of the neck. So, I mean, I probably would. No, it's getting way too tight now.
Yeah.
It's zoomed in too much to begin with. Just go back to the original. Okay, can you crop, and I know that a little bit of cloning or a little spot removal would take that little nut out, but I don't know that I need his shoulder in there.
This
I-
whole,
I need to look at it and see what happens if you just came straight from that corner down. Eliminate that shoulder.
do you want to make it a square or a rectangle?
Well, make, I don't know, I'd have to look at it both ways. Start
Okay.
it that way.
So here's a square. Do you want this gone also?
I would leave the nut in there and I'd have to take that out differently. It's too tight. I agree with you. And now come back up. Yeah, expand it back out all the way. I like that better than I like the shoulder in there. He just has too long of
Oh.
a downhill. I don't know,
Right.
it's my thinking. But it's just another option, another way to look at it.
I would look at 11 by 14. Just the way it is.
Yeah. It's nice. I like that. I like the feathers below on his neck. That's what I like.
Yeah, and I like this whole thing around the eye.
Me too. It's very clean and clear. Sometimes I think, but the moral of the story is you got to play a lot with crops and move and pick out parts of things and isolate. Keep looking at it differently. Keep spinning it around. Keep looking at different takes on it.
Right.
Don't get locked with it as it comes out of the camera.
I like how the light is coming in over here. Let's see what happens with this.
David, it's a rim light.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can do a threshold.
Right.
You should crop from the bottom right up. That white area, gotta
let me
go.
just,
You mean on the right side?
Yes, that white behind it, the yellow.
All right, I did the same thing that I did to the other one. I sharpened it a little, I contrasted it a little, I lightened it a little. Now, where do you want me to crop? A square or a, this one should be a square. Yeah,
Square. And want to primarily get rid of that white,
oh, in the back, I see.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. I like that a lot better. What do you think, Marty?
Yeah,
Marty?
looks a lot better, yeah.
Yeah,
You
The
gotta be
eye is
careful,
sharp, the rest of the body is so-so.
you gotta be
The
careful
the
on
eye and the beak are sharp.
right.
how many pixels are left here when you try to print this at 11 by 14.
Yeah,
I'm
but
look-
he takes this with a camera. This has the real pixels. When he sends them to me, they get messed up like this.
Okay,
It
that's
always have
all
this
I'm
problem.
asking. It's
Yeah.
got enough pixels left, okay.
Yeah, because it's a regular a DLSR. Unless you shot this with your phone. Did you do that
No, these are all,
on the camera?
DSLR.
Okay.
Again, needs more contrast on it.
that's a cute picture.
It really is.
Mother and son, mother and daughter.
Hey,
And the problem-
Doris, you know that I was telling, we were talking before about the fill light versus the highlights. This is fill light. You see how everything got brighter?
Yeah,
The highlights just affected the animals, didn't affect the back.
better.
And the problem with the 11 by 14 is you want to eliminate that bottom white strip, and you can't because when you crop it down, you're going to lose the hind end of both giraffes.
Right,
Okay.
because of the proportion.
It would be good for the cafe, the 20 by 30.
Correct. Or not, because again, it's a very selective crop. You just have to crop the bottom out, but
Yeah, it's like,
you can't do it.
right.
Nope. No other way to save that.
Well, you clone stuff on there.
Correct. You got-
Straighten it a little bit to the left, a little bit white will go away. The other way.
No,
No,
little
look
more.
at look at
No,
the
you're
back.
making it
Look
hard.
at the back. Doris, look what it's doing to
No,
the back.
no more. Okay.
that's such a cute picture. You gotta be
Yeah.
able to work with that.
Yeah.
And too bad you don't know how to clone the grass onto the dirt.
Well, one of these days I might learn.
Mm.
Okay, so that's the same thing. I sharpened it a little bit. I contrasted a little bit. I highlighted a little bit. And I'll go back and you'll be able to see the difference. Whoops, what am I clicking on? Bad girl. Okay. See, it's like dull this way. That's the original. Also not sharp.
And that you literally could crop that nicely to get rid of that foreground, because
Thought I did
you
crop
got
it.
plenty of room on the
Yeah.
side.
I don't know, that doesn't seem to, when I work on it, it doesn't seem to hold.
You have
I don't know
to
if I'm doing
sa-
wrong.
you have to save it.
Go back to the 11, yeah, go back to the 11 by 14. And there you go. To me, that's
Mhm.
better.
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's 11/14.
Yep.
Very nice.
Marty, when
Wow,
you after you do this, Marty, you right click and see where it says save. You have to save it, otherwise it won't be saved. Or you go
Okay.
up here to file on the top, also save. And that's how you save it.
Mm. I
So
think
you
I
can-
need, anything I need lessons.
You make a copy first and then you save it. Okay. This is Nancy's. It's not straight.
Can I just suggest on this one that you really don't need the whole left hand of the picture?
Nope, you don't.
It's the birds and the shape of the tree that are interesting. So if it was 11 by 14 on the right-hand side, I think it'd be more interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
I would move it more to the right, actually.
Yeah, move it right, yep.
Oh, and have the tree more on the edge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an interesting way to.
Now the branches frame it.
Nice. Okay, a little bit of contrast. That's nice. Nancy, are you still here?
I'm still here. Hard
Good.
to talk, but I'm still here.
That's okay. Do you see the
Novocaine hasn't worn off yet.
Do you understand what they're saying? You see the difference?
But it's recording because I'm taking notes, but
Okay,
it's easier
great.
to go back to the recording and listen.
Okay. So basically, by cropping it 11 by 14 and just eliminating the whole left side of the picture, you now have this beautiful L-shaped frame, and the birds are really important, and they're sharp, and you can see the beaks and the feet and everything just all became very important. And then I just boosted the contrast a little bit to be a little more texture in the trunk of this tree and the branch. And that's all it needs.
Hey, guys, I got to step away for a few minutes. I'll be
Okay,
back.
thanks.
Finish, David.
Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Is it key maker?
Yes.
Who would think to take a picture of that? That
Can
is
you rotate that so the top right corner disappears with a
this
rotation?
part. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's all you need. Not too much because you want to make sure none of the keys.
Yeah, I don't want to lose any of the keys.
Yep, there you go. And it doesn't matter if you want to crop a little of the bottom off because you still have more than enough of these curvy linear line up on the top with all of the keys in it. You could take some off the bottom, even if it meant bringing it in a little bit.
Okay, well, she's going to have to decide what she wants to lose because
Correct.
you lose. Well, actually, I have all the top and the bottom. I'm just losing a little on the sides.
Right, and I want you to take a little off the bottom.
Okay.
Just come straight up, yeah. And now center that again. Now center it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter that you're losing a little bit of the stacks on the side. When you click
Right.
that out, let's see what it looks like.
Oh, I love it. It's very cool.
Yeah. And you lost all that distracting out of focus stuff on the foreground.
You have to think up a nice name for that picture.
Okay, I'm making it just a little darker to bring out the colors in the keys. This is how it was before. And I just made it a little drop darker.
Like the key merry-go-round.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great name. I like that a lot. Okay, next. Nice.
Gonna be straightened a little.
Well, I don't know. I'll
I don't know.
try.
Looking at it,
There's a lot of different lines. So,
no,
nope, you can't.
no.
That's perspective correction. That's a whole other thing. I'm just looking at the horizontal lines. I think that, this one is straight. These horizontal ones, right over here are straight. And this main one right here. I don't know what else you could do.
That looks good.
That's more contrast. This is undue contrast. What do you think?
Too dark. You lost a lot of black where there's some detail. Just, it's got to be a compromise between those two.
All right, let's just see if a little bit more shadow instead.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay. Just made it a little richer.
Yeah. You can saturate it a little bit too, and it'll bring that pink out, that little mauve color up on the top.
Yeah. There's also another little pink right here.
Yeah.
Comes out. Nice, Nancy.
Thank you.
And is this an 11 by 14 already? Let's see. Nope. So now in this one, I think you have to leave the top, right? Because of this little piece here.
Mhm.
Because if you bring it down, that's going to look bizarre. I think. Okay.
You bring it in a little from the left.
I don't want to lose too much of the bottom. Let's see what that looks like. I like
What
that.
is that, Nancy?
I think that was Houston.
It's a building?
Yeah. We were in Houston this December.
I like that. So a little tiny darker and an 11 by 14 crop. But make sure you leave the top of the thing, whatever that is up there. Ooh, where'd you find him?
I think that was in one of the three places in the area.
Oh, wow.
There's an owl at Green K. I don't know if that's him.
Crop it.
Yeah, that same comment that David had on the other one. You don't need any of this over here.
Oh, way too busy. Crop it.
Okay, let's square or 11 by 14.
No, go in on 11 by 14. Okay, yeah, let's not put him in the center. Let's leave the stuff on the edge. Yeah, there.
Yeah, that little plant.
Yeah. Try a square, see what you get. Better in the square.
Yeah. I'd like this part of him to be brighter, but I don't think I can do that in Costco. I mean, in Picasso. It's a global brightening. So,
yeah.
No.
You don't have a dodge and burn, right?
Not in Picasso.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in the feathers and stuff, which is really nice. Okay. All right, so a square crop, Nancy. And see if you can make him just a teeny bit brighter. Do you have Photoshop Elements?
Yes.
Okay, so with dodge and burn, you probably could, it's dodge that makes it brighter, right?
Yes.
So if you get to the dodge and burn tool, you can always go back and eliminate it. And you just like do that over his eyes and face. I wouldn't do this part. I would just do it under here and see if it makes it any brighter just in that little area.
When you use that, you have to isolate it first?
No.
No.
Just take a brush.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just paint it.
Yeah, you just do this. And you'll see right away if it works or not. It's very obvious. It either looks great or messy. That's my experience. Oh, sorry. I clicked twice. Okay. Wait, one. That's sort of cool.
See if it's an 11 by 14.
Eliminate the top?
Yeah.
Well, see if it is an 11 by 14. I have a feeling no, but
No. No,
okay.
but it's just the width
Go
that's
left.
not.
Push it left. Because unless you want to lose that. That way you
No.
keep all the characters in.
Right.
And the problem is you have no way to crop it down from the top. All that
Right.
black is just not lending itself to. Yeah.
I mean, unless I take this whole person out. But then there's this, like this is some kind of a skeleton up here.
Yeah, probably it needs worse. You can try it in a square and see what you can lose, but the people are what make the picture. The characters underneath is
Right.
really what
Yeah.
makes this work, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, no. The square is not.
Unless you turn it the other way. I don't mean turn the picture, I'm saying turn the crop the other way.
Oh, this is a square. So let me go back to the 11 by 14.
Right. Well, we had that way already, okay.
Yeah, I did a horizontal before.
Yeah.
Unless we
like
just,
Well, come over more to the right and let's keep one group of people in or not. Okay, I like
Yeah.
the people down by the lit.
these guys,
corner at the
yeah.
bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the guy with the hat, backwards hat, and this guy walking back
So come in
here.
from the top left, come down a little bit more from the top left. Because you want it, yeah, good. You eliminated that crap up above. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I would take it, because.
Oh, yeah.
You have it.
Better.
Much better. Much better. Now the people are really important.
That's where
And
that's.
yet, yeah. And the black and white is really nice.
Mhm.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Lots of shadows, lots of things to look at.
Yeah.
Nice, very sharp. Okay, so you got that, Nancy, a crop that leaves these guys, all these people down here intact and these people back here. So we lost, and look, there's a lady here taking a picture or a
Yeah, I
selfie.
saw that.
He's
Mhm.
taking a selfie. This is very cool. Yeah, whatever junk was over here, we don't need. And we definitely don't need the top with the lights. So this is an 11 by 14 crop, horizontal.
Nancy, you nailed the sharpness on this one. This is really
Thank you.
sharp.
Yeah, really good.
It was all by mistake, I guarantee it.
Nancy, this is really pretty. I've never seen pictures like these from you.
Crop it. 11 by 14, crop it.
Okay.
Take off the bright sky at the top.
Yeah, because there's way too much on the outsides. You don't need as too much information. As long as you keep the leading line and the path in there.
Right.
You even can bring it down more. See what it looks like. I would find a way to take that big stick out of the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah, that was what I was. Let me go back.
You might be able to crop it out.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, lovely.
I
You
would
see-
make it a little darker if you don't lose the detail.
I'd probably crop a little bit more out of it, but anyway.
There you go.
No, I think it lost, it
Yeah.
got too dark in the woods.
In here.
Well, it's like one of those things where you don't want to take you'll lose all the detail on the right side if you take it darker, and yet you need to eliminate some of the brights in the middle. So yeah, it's
Gotta tell you, Anne, I didn't mind that branch lying in the foreground. I kind
Okay.
of
You like the
personally-
centering of it better then, yeah.
Yeah, and I personally thought it was a nice, I don't know.
Let's look. I was like, it's like, try them
Yeah,
all.
like, yeah,
Go ahead, I'm
would move-
listening.
I would move it a little back to the left, but that's just me.
Yeah, to get rid of the highlights on the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I don't, to me, the branch just looks natural.
Okay,
Yes, and it leads you in.
Yeah,
yeah, it is
Yeah.
pretty. Lots of options with that.
Yeah, yeah. And there's
I'll
more
play
to
with it a
look at.
bit, Tom.
Yeah, there's more to look at here than there was when we left more here.
Yep,
All this stuff in here.
you got rid of some of the highlights, which is good.
Yeah. Nice picture, Nancy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
hello. These are Paul's.
Yes.
oh, that's beautiful.
The detail and it's just
we go.
beautiful.
Paul, do you have a little more room on the top above his head in your original?
I'll have to go back and look. I probably shot about 30 pictures of him.
It had just a little bit more on the top. I think I would like it
Thank
better. I don't know, but at the same token, it's like, I don't know that I like the little bit of space. It's either have none or have more. I just.
Right, if you crop in a little bit tighter, I think it might,
So that's the other
it
way.
might
to
even
do
be-
it.
you might even be able to get rid of the whole top.
But anyway, it's very great eye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No.
no,
Square.
it's square. You're losing too much of the right side.
I kind of like the way it was.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the
I don't like
original.
that. It's too tight. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the whole thing is too tight now.
I don't know, I would make it tighter. I'd
Yeah.
like to see it tighter, coming, taking off the whole top and the whole, and part of the right.
Well, here's another
But
look.
that's
This,
me.
this is crazy, but what if you cropped out the head really tight to just get the beak in the eye and a little bit of the feathering around the face?
Exactly,
Light
that's what
and
I
the
was
light
looking
below
at.
the chin. See those little feathers below his chin? Yeah, now move it more right.
What about the front of the beak
I'd
though?
go to an 11 by 14 to make it wider. I want wider. I want more behind him. That's too tight. Okay. Can you bring it down a little bit more? Bring it up, bring it down. I want more on the right. That's what I'm looking for. And leaving the left alone. Just that's too tight on the
Yeah.
beak.
Yeah.
Right,
And the beak is not that sharp.
No. It's like one of these things that needs something other than 11 by 14 crop to do it.
yeah,
Oh,
that might
yeah.
be it.
That's closer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bring it down a little bit more from on the bottom right.
Here?
Yeah. Well, I know. I don't like the green.
Yeah.
color.
there's-
I think the problem with it is just it's the 11 by 14. It's not the picture, it's the crop that's the problem.
I like the original.
Me
I
too.
think I like the original better too.
Mm.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, we tried it all, so there you go. I always say
Well-
try and take a look at them all.
The only thing
But it's not 11 by 14, the original. Here's 11 by 14.
So what if you
Oh,
turn
no,
the-
it's not. Wait. It
turn the
moves.
11 by 14 the other way?
Hold on. Let me just go back to it. Okay, so that's 11 by 14. That's
Right.
11 by 14.
All the way up. Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
Paul, take a look and see if you have a little more room above the head Do you know how to add canvas?
Excuse me?
Do you know how to add canvas?
No.
Okay, that's something that would come in handy here on the top right, but I still think that look in the original, see if you have a little bit more to crop on the top, you can add back on the top.
Okay.
It's
That's all.
not hard to add canvas. I did it before.
Yeah, we had a lesson in that once. It's in,
got-
in Elements.
You have to follow the directions, that's all. Maybe from YouTube.
It's got some nice detail in the feathering and the eye is great.
Yeah. Now, does it matter that the beak is not really sharp?
See, I think when you're further back, the whole bird looks a lot sharper.
Let's look at it again. Let's look at it again.
And, you know, yeah, I know there's leaves in there or whatever, but it's a bird in a tree.
But he still has to make it 11 by 14 for the
Right.
show.
That's the problem, Dave. She has to crop somewhere.
Yeah, but I'd crop off from the right personally.
Okay, let's see it.
And make it, but that's just me.
No,
I-
let's look at it.
And Paul, the only other thing that I was gonna suggest is that I think the eye is fantastic and the blue in the beak is really pretty. If you just did a touch, not a lot, just a touch of saturation, just to bring up that blue and that orange, I think it'd be like electric. It'd be really nice. But that's,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
just
that's the idea.
subtly.
So Paul, so if you don't have any room to go on the top and there's no little
That's too
more
much.
get out of the original, then consider what Dave is saying, because it is pretty. And I will say there's nice detail in the feathers. Do you know what kind of
Yeah.
bird it is?
Uh,
You should know. It's a black crowned night heron.
right,
It says that on your title,
right.
Black
Okay,
Crowned
I
Night Heron.
didn't know if you knew what it was. Okay,
Yeah.
because it's very pretty, and it's a tough bird to get. They hide pretty well. They're deep, they hide, and they're nocturnal. So, good job.
The eye is gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Same thing happened here. He's like jammed into the corner.
The problem with this photograph is to the left is the bird feeder, and it's a big chunk of green iron.
Oh,
That's the only reason I
Could
chopped
you
it this
crop,
way.
could you crop it, not crop it out? Could you take it out with spot or just a content aware fill and get rid of the part of the feeder?
I mean, I didn't try that, but I'll take a look at it.
If you know the picture would be better if you had more room to the left.
Right.
Then you go to your content aware fill via maybe Photoshop or Elements and just try to add some of that back and take out that block of green or whatever that is, because it's a pretty painted bunting. It's very lovely. And you've got nice catch light in the eye. You've got some nice detail. You've got a nice aperture setting on it. It's very pretty. Just needs room on the left.
Bird didn't cooperate.
No software. It's in the software. You can get it.
And Adrian, I don't know if you could do this. Could you just flip the picture
no,
so it's facing the other way?
not in Elements. I
Okay.
can only do that in Photoshop Elements. I mean, not in Picasa. I can only do that in Elements. Oh, look at that.
There's the green feeder.
Yeah.
Oh, but it looks fine there.
I
Oh,
don't
look at
mind
them.
green feeder.
They're screaming at each other.
Mhm.
I would take the line down. I would like the top edge of that feeder, that little line. I would just take that down. But it's pretty. It's
Would
clear.
you consider cropping it from the right,
Yep.
the feeder, so you concentrate on the two birds? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
but what about the
no,
tail?
I don't think it matters if you crop off the tail, frankly. I mean,
Do
I
you
think,
need the bottom of that feeder? The stand?
no, you don't, but it's 11 by 14.
But 11 by
which is-
14 doesn't allow you to selectively take out what you don't want in there.
12 by 12.
You can move it
Square.
up a little bit. You could move it up a little bit and that would take just to there. That takes some of it out.
Where would you end in cropping away the tail? Like just at the end of the feeder?
You
Well,
got
you
it.
don't want the orange of the other bird in there, so here's the
Right.
thing. And I think David and I would have this conversation is, do you, you don't really need to, you know what's there, you know the bird has a tail.
Right.
Right.
Your mind will finish the picture, will finish the image and put the tail in there, because your mind will do that. So let's see what it looks like.
I think the interaction between the two birds should be your focus.
It's the storytelling. I
Right.
agree.
Wow.
That
big
brings out the
difference.
bunting. I agree.
Yeah.
Good decision, David.
I just
I
boosted
love-
the contrast a drop.
I
For in
love
here.
the orange bird. It's
It tells
Yeah.
a great story. It's a really nice storytelling image. Yep.
Like, this is mine.
No, somebody's I know would say, it's just another bird, Ann. Because I love birds, and it was like, it's just another bird, Ann. And no, they're different. And it was different. All right, so Rosie is spoonbill.
pretty.
Yeah. Nice lighting on it.
Yeah. Really weird lighting. Where was this? Because like, look at how dark it is at the bottom and
This,
How-
what I did with this one, because I didn't like the background, was in Lightroom, again, it said subject and it just
Fine.
picks the bird right out.
right.
And I flipped, anade another mask and inverted it and just darkened the
Right.
the exposure on the back portion, the background.
Right.
Well done with your software, Paul. That's a good.
Mhm.
The only problem is I don't know how to get pictures out for development.
For developing for
that.
print, for printing.
Yeah.
Go to
Okay.
shutterfly.com.
Right. But he doesn't know how to take it, how to get them,
Right. How to
export them. You have
He
to
didn't-
I don't know
export
what
them.
in size, sizing them to get them, for development, to be able to print a 12 by 12 or an 11 by 14.
Paul, give me a shout tomorrow or the next day, and I will show you the screen setting you need to get it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll tell you where to go. I just need a little time to free up to get to you to do it, but we'll do it.
Okay.
Anything
Later
else
this
you
week.
want? Any other suggestions for this one?
More sharpening.
I don't know.
I think it's got.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sharp.
I guess the only thing I would say is that those white dots by his foot. I know they're particles in the water, but if you can smush them out, that would be great.
Yeah, I can get rid of those.
Yeah. And there's one over here too.
You
Right.
mean
The other way.
you're not thinking that this is Boca?
Right. The next one's gorgeous.
Yes. yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to say something to you. You're turning into a birder like me.
Mhm.
I go out maybe twice a week, and I probably shoot anywhere from 75 to 150 pictures.
Good for you. That's how you
And-
get better.
It's just great getting out there and looking at these creatures.
Yeah. And you are getting very good. Look at the head
Yeah.
on this. This is,
I can see the personal growth here. It's nice. It's nice to see. Yeah,
I also love the negative space around it.
I do too.
Mhm.
mhm.
Very pretty.
Again, I did the same thing with this.
Right.
You blackened out the background.
Yeah, you just say, you pick the subject that finds it and you invert it and you're done.
You know that, Paul, you can also just pick the background. You don't even have to go through the inversion. Pick the
Yeah,
background.
you can do that. That's true.
It's only one step then. That's all I'm saying. It's only
Yeah.
one step. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So.
Okay.
you
So
can
this,
also- Go ahead.
I'm going to make it 11 by 14 to see if there's, what do you have to do to make it 11 by 14? I don't want to lose the tail.
No, you don't,
I
Right.
think, yeah, there's here,
because there's no story here.
right.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough in front.
Paul, do you know what it is? It's a warbler. I see you've got the name down
Yeah.
there. You've got a
Hmm.
warbler. Okay, good. And they're not so easy to get because they're quick.
Yes.
They don't stay in the same place very long, so it's a challenge. Good man. Good job.
Okay, these are Vivian's. The first thing is it's not straight. Okay,
I'm sorry, guys. I have to run.
okay.
Bye.
Bye, David.
Thanks,
Bye,
David.
David.
All right, just
Bye.
so the people that are left know what we have. I have 3 pictures from Vivian, and then there's a few from Doris and a few from Eileen, and then we're done.
All right, this is a vertical panoramic. Crop it. It's not an 11 by 14.
You don't
And
need the bottom,
Right.
bottom 1/3.
Correct, correct. But you do want those shadows, keep coming down. You want those shadows right there, yeah.
Right.
And I don't know that you need all the busyness up top.
Right,
Come down even a little bit more. I like the shadows better, yeah.
yeah.
So now the question is, Vivian, do you know how to get this out in 11 by 14? Do you know how to crop to an 11 by 14?
Well, I was going to take it to the store to have them do 11 by 14 for me.
Okay, but you
Okay.
want to look to see where we chose to make the 11 by 14. You follow me? If
Yeah, I'd
if-
have to, yeah.
they
So I
might,
went, see that this dark arch right here? I went right underneath it.
because you don't need that. You need the shadows of what really makes this outstanding here.
When I did this picture in color, that little white spot in the back, it looked like a heart. And that,
Oh.
right. And that's why I liked it. And I just.
I think I have it in color as well. But the
I-
first thing I did was straighten it
Right.
because it was crooked.
Turn it all black and white. It's got a little green in it. Turn it all black and white. See what
Yeah,
happens.
I left some green.
Which you could, and that there's nothing wrong with that. I actually think I like her little touch of green in it better, to tell you the truth.
Hmm.
No, I liked it better the other way, but that's me.
Oh, that's sepia. Undo. Undo.
Yeah, I like the little touch of
A
green.
little bit, yeah.
Um,
All right.
I might darken the shadows a little bit more. I don't know if you can find a little more contrast in it to just. Yeah, I like the spots of the shadows. They're beautiful.
Yeah, all this whole
And then
path.
the other thing is, and I don't know how Vivian could do this with software, but that white spot in the background needs to be toned down.
This
That-
whole area, yeah.
Yeah.
she's-
That whole area needs to be toned down with the brush tool. Vivian, do you have software at all?
I have a Snapseed and I have Photoshop, but to tell you the truth, I'm afraid to go into it, so I haven't done it yet. But I do have it downloaded for a year already.
Well, did you hear at the beginning that Brenda's taking a course on February 23rd in the library on Glades Road on how
Yeah,
to
I
use
saw
Snapseed?
that. I saved that on my phone. Yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
So make sure you
Take it
register.
To the ship.
Bring this picture with you and tell them, how do I turn around and take that white? That's the entranceway going into the light. How do I take that? And Adrian, what would happen if you took the exposure all the way down in the whole picture? I don't think that's an answer, but
Vivian, there's nothing to be afraid of. Save
no.
the original and you can do whatever you want.
shadows, go back, go back. Don't do the shadows. I want you to give me a little less light in a total exposure on the whole picture.
You can't do that. That you can only increase shadows. See, the light starts at low and only goes brighter.
Okay,
This is
Okay.
Picasso.
but yeah, okay.
Vivian, I'm sorry, where do you plan to go in town and get an 11 by 14 printed?
Well, I was gonna go into some of the Photoshops to the one on Glades Road. I thought maybe like Kinko's, I thought maybe they could do it.
Check at CVS because they make prints also.
CVS.
Yeah.
I think Office Depot could do it.
Some
I don't know,
CVSs do not do it anymore.
No,
Same
Walgreens has photo too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This is
And
a
Walmart. I like this fence.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
a
my-
panoramic. It's lovely, but it's a panoramic and you can lose the top.
Yeah.
So go crop.
This was at the Mount Gardens.
Keep coming down because that's beautiful down below.
I love the fence, you know.
That's 11 by
Oh,
14.
Pretty.
That's perfect.
Yeah, much better.
So that's the crop you got to tell them you want, Vivian, when you give it to them.
Right, okay.
It's just from the very bottom up, 14 inches up.
Beautiful. The
Yeah, this red plant here, that's
plant,
fortuitous.
It's great. Yep.
And that's the color of the other. It's not as glary in the back.
It
You're
might
right.
be
That's
better.
better. That's
It's
better. So
better.
don't use the other one, Vivian. Use this one.
Hmm.
It's a little too, it's not straight in my mind, Adrian. That's crooked. It's too much. You brought it, unstraighten it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right there.
How
There
did-
you go. Yeah.
Vivian, how did you make it into black and white?
Now bring it down.
I used it on my phone. I took the color out.
Yeah, and what it did was it did a disaster on the. Okay, up. Okay, come down over in the, get over in that corner.
Mm,
Come down a little bit. Now come down. Yeah, go look for that. Yeah, right there. Keep those shadows in.
you want these, right?
I do.
Absolutely.
That's me. I mean, that's.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, absolutely.
And then click that. That's the one you want.
That's
Now
the
from there, if you take the highlights down or just, can you do anything else with this, Adrian and Picasso?
Just a little
I'm
shadow.
bringing the shadows down to try to make that, and it has no impact on the back of that hole through it. So I wouldn't bring those shadows down too much, but it's just, what happens when you click on the,
I increased the contrast a little bit.
what happens when you hit retouch? There's a little box that says retouch on the left. Nope, down there.
No idea. It zoomed it in.
Yeah, I did. Undo
Okay.
that.
Oh, it's till, no, this is for like spot removal. It's giving me a brush that I can do, see?
Got it. Back up,
Yeah.
cancel.
Mhm.
Do we have any other options here? I just want to take the, although I like the fact that it is lighter, because you do want to walk from the shadows in the dark into the light. So that is part of what makes it work.
And there's a fence back here. You can see all the way down to know that there's more path.
Yep.
But
Adrian,
that's
can you
that
make
green
this,
paint.
can you make this into black and white from here?
That's better than the black and white she had because you can still see
Right.
lots of detail in there.
Right, right.
She has to decide what she can do with that, but in terms of her submitting the two pictures that she had, one of which was black and white that she converted and the other one, I would not use her black and white.
No.
So she should use the color is what
Right.
she should do.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vivian.
No, I was gonna say, with that, with the colored one, just come down and go up a little bit. Okay.
Yeah,
And is that 11 by 14?
This is 11 by 14.
just
Okay.
make sure you leave a lot of the shadow work down below on the walkway. Because you don't need all that brush stuff above the arch where the opening is. You don't need all that much. You just need some.
Right. Okay.
Right?
I don't think this is much of anything because you cut off a lot of what was there.
Okay.
Well, you have a thumb.
Yeah.
Right. I like the thumb.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can go back to your original and see if you have more berries and stuff.
You're way too cut off. Although
Yeah.
with anything else, no. That does not work.
Okay, this is Doris's.
Doris is an 11 by 14.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty.
It's a little heavy on the bottom, but I don't know how else you could crop it because the 11 by 14 screws you. Yeah, see, screwed. Maybe.
That's better.
There it is.
You like
That's-
that better?
100
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Is they would always say that the question comes up to when you decide to crop or not crop, letting the subject breathe is one thing, but looking to see what adds value by leaving it in. And I know we had this whole thing about negative space and that whole thing that went around and around and around with Harvey and Carl and everything last year. If does what you're leaving in, does it have value? If it has no value, get rid of it. That's
Yeah.
kind of
I
that's it.
boosted the contrast and I darkened it a drop. So let's go back for the original.
So
See
you
the
changed it
difference?
Much better, much better.
Yeah. So
Doris?
Doris, here's my
Yeah.
question. You are in the advanced group?
I am.
Okay, and so your next stop would be the master's group?
I don't think I'll get there.
But that would be your next stop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, just wondering.
So a little darker, a little more contrast, and a square 12 by 12.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, more copy.
Pretty. That's
It's
11 by 14?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do I think it's crooked? Is it me? It could be.
Sorry, guys, I gotta run. I'll catch it when the last
Okay.
couple of pictures online.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care, Paul.
Take care, Paul.
Okay. Thank you.
I think the back, if you look at the horizon in the back,
Yeah,
it is a little bit crooked.
yeah.
Okay.
I kind
Just,
of a little bit of.
there you go.
Nope, still not straight. Keep going.
Don't look at
There-
the bench.
Yeah.
I'm
the
not looking
bench.
at the bench. I'm looking
Okay.
at the line in the back on the water seeks its lowest level or it's,
Right.
it's whatever level. So no. So, all right, there we go. So let's start there. So Doris, you have to just touch that.
Okay.
Comments from the shooting gallery?
I don't have any comments. I think it's okay.
I do
Add a
too.
little contrast to it.
I think
No,
the whole,
'cause it'll make the blacks too black if you do
Yeah.
that more. That's what'll happen.
because there's,
Show them what happens when you go do that, Adrian. If you click on this, watch the blacks.
yeah, just a little bit. But what's happening is that it's making all this stuff too much. You were
Mhm.
thinking it needed contrast because of all this in the back, but you can't, you'd have to do like things you don't want to do.
I will tell you what that requires. And Doris, you may have it or you may not have it. If you want to turn around and do a little bit with the back, then you need to drop two ways to do it. One is a little bit of dehaze with a radial filter. You just drop that gradient filter just to do the third and
I
put
don't have dehaze on 11.
Yeah.
I can't help you, but I can tell
know.
you that's if when people are looking for contrast back there, it's because there's a haze in the background, and that's all it needs is a little bit of dehaze. And I can't tell you how to do that in Photoshop 11.
Yeah.
But so it's a learning curve for you, Doris. That's what you need to know. How can I figure it out? All right. But it would just take that, but it's pretty. It's very, very pretty. Go back to that one again. I'm gonna pick. Can you increase the shadows a little bit or you can't You can only increase, you can't decrease. I want you to decrease. You
No.
can't.
Okay, well, I can
You can
increase the
highlight.
highlights.
Go
I don't
back.
see any difference.
Sure,
Yeah,
look,
I see the sky changes.
Now, because it's affecting the global, you don't like it.
right, yeah, that's what's
Affects
happening.
global. I just want you to turn around and be able to take the shadows up a tad. That's all.
here.
Just a tad. You see those bushes lack detail? I just want to give them a little touch, and I mean a smidgen. All
So
right.
light.
You could try dodge and burn. You have that in 11.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, try that.
Takes them off the sky. It's so Doris, here's my question. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Remember what you said before? Does all of that white have value?
No.
Good. So then you're going to crop a little bit of it out. Now you're going to have to make a decision about where else you want to crop. I would go from the top right, Adrian. I'd go the other way. Yeah, that's all right. Do that. Yeah. Now go the other way to the pagoda. No, go back. Yeah. Because you see all that dark stuff on the right-hand side. I hate that. Keep coming. Get rid of
Okay.
that branch on the top, right there. Doris, do you know how to take out spots?
Yes.
You see the top 3 branches up here on the left?
Yes.
Spot removal, get rid of them.
It's easier to crop just a 1/4 inch, right?
Well, you could. Go ahead, Adrian, crop it in a little bit. But again, 11 by 14. So now it's going to take some more off. So let's see, we go. Go ahead, take it there.
Still pretty.
Okay.
And I would say bring the shadows up a little.
Yeah,
And
that
what
was
if
just
it's all
I was
right?
just reaching for highlights.
What about making this a vertical?
Now, because you know what it does? It changes the sky.
Yeah,
I don't like that at all. I like the detail left in the sky. See,
Yeah.
the sky is moody. So Ira's suggestion is try to make this one a vertical.
And take off the right side.
Yeah, we could lose the right side. I agree. The right side has no value. It's all bushy. It's all messy. It's all whatever. Twiggy.
There you go. We'll have to go up a little. You have to go up a little bit and just take off that leaf up there.
I would even say go left a little bit. Push it left a little bit. It doesn't, you don't need to crop it that
Mhm.
tight to the pagoda. Keep going. I would go even more. More. There you go. That's what I would do. It's off-centered. It's not in the middle. Doris, you see how the pink flowers lack detail?
in here.
Yes. I boosted them.
Okay, so when you boost the saturation too much, take a look at it again, because sometimes what happens is you blur out the detail in it. Because my eye goes to those red flowers, and while as I see red, I also see no detail in the petals.
Okay.
And I'm only
Yeah.
saying this because I know that you're advanced, so I know that this is,
See what
Well,
she's
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, I see.
okay? So see if you can bring a little detail back in that and get that same kind of vertical crop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing it all down.
Well, you can listen to it.
That's
It's
interesting.
recorded.
Don't touch that.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's really pretty.
ICM.
So,
Thank you.
sorry, I have to go, but I will watch the video to
Okay.
go over 15 times what I have to do.
Wow.
It's okay to have the framing, right? For the show?
That was my question. Do we
No,
allow that?
Yeah, I think we were doing that for
no,
the,
it's gone.
yeah, that was, no,
It's gone.
but you don't
What?
need that.
Take the frame
I have
off.
to take it off?
Yeah,
What's the difference if you can do any creative
Well, because
anything?
anybody can frame anything, and because we're all in one category now, and we're not in creative dividing it up, if you're in the regular category and all 6 pictures are in there, when you put a frame on something and you can get creative within the realm of your frame, you are definitely having an added advantage that somebody else would not have. So then the next thing is, well, so why shouldn't somebody have an added advantage? let's attack that in the following year. But basically what it's doing, Doris, is, and I think this is stunning, by the way, if you're gonna frame this on your wall, it's a beautiful frame. But apples to apples with judging. They don't get into the frame, they don't get into the border, they don't get into anything else. They're judging the picture for the
Right back.
value of the picture and the image that you've created.
Okay.
So,
I
so
don't
that,
think I have the original, but I just crop it a little tighter.
Right,
yeah,
you can do
girl,
that.
just
Yeah.
crop it
Yeah.
tighter, and it's very pretty. Yeah,
Yep.
it's a nice ICM,
Nice, good.
nice abstract. Yeah. Lake Worth. Yeah, Lake Worth, or was it, Del Rey? Either one.
Pretty. And your horizon is straight.
Now would be fine, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's interesting, is the horizon is straight, but the top of the building or the structure, whatever, isn't.
so that
Mhm.
comes down to what they call a lens correction or a
Right.
transform correction in your lens, in your camera software. There is a correction for that, but I don't know what software you're using to know if that's there. You're using,
I know it's in Lightroom because I saw it there.
Yeah.
It's in
definitely.
Photoshop.
Time.
Probably the building is crooked. I don't think it's the lens.
No, and what it will do, but you believe it or not, it'll straighten the whole damn thing. It's insane.
But look at the flagpole, which is perfectly straight. So Doris is probably right. This roof is probably crooked.
But the crazy software will pick that up, but I don't think
Oh,
that's an issue.
But I don't have it.
Yeah.
Your horizon is straight, your flagpole is straight. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
All right, but is it a good picture for the show?
Is it 11 by 14?
Yeah, or I mean, is it a snapshot or does it have some value?
I don't know. I think it has a lot of things to look at.
Well, what do you see in it, Doris? Tell me what you see in it.
The lifeguard watching over people.
Right, which is, if you were to define that, it's street photography, correct?
Yes.
It is storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a beach scene with color and whatever else. I think it has value.
Yeah, I like it.
Eileen, Eileen, wait, I want to ask, Eileen, what do you think?
I think you gave it the right category.
Okay.
Adrian, can you crop off the left of the photo? Take it all the way to the left past the flag.
All the way to the left past the flag.
Right.
You want the
So
flag?
I want the flag out of there.
Like that?
Well, let's see. I think that's
So I'm
better.
going to say this, and this is a tough decision. This is truly in the eye of the artist and the photographer about what it is
Sure.
that she feels she needs to see in this, or what her vision was for it. I can go either way. Me personally, I like the flag. It tells more of the story. It's a lifeguard station. That flag tells you that.
I
I
like the
thought
flag.
maybe the surfboard was distracting. It's
Yeah,
very
well,
white.
I like the flag, but that white surfboard was my eye was going there, and I don't think it should do that.
All right, let's go back. That's a great point. Let's go back to the original and let's see what we can do with this.
You can
Oh, sorry.
Wait,
deepen,
wait, hold on. Come up from the bottom. Get rid of the red and half the surfboard. Come up from the bottom.
Can you make the surfboard a different color?
How
I'll
much?
be at it all day.
Yeah,
You're losing the flag.
I know. And if I keep the flag, then I lose the beach.
Keep coming down to the right a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. So we've taken some of the whiteboard out. Does that work for you, Doris?
That's pretty good.
It's
You like
sort
that
of
better?
Doris, I will tell you that in the advanced level, you do need to learn how to take that white surfboard, selectively outline it, and turn it to another color.
I could do it.
And I would, good girl, I would turn it to a yellow.
Yeah, pick up.
To match the flag?
To match
color-
the wall behind the guy, the
Pale
lifeguard.
yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this,
I would turn it to a yellow or the yellow on the flag, either one. I would turn it to yellow.
Okay, I'll try.
And that gives you the best of everybody's world.
yeah, and it would make this whole part of the picture interesting instead of distracting.
Yeah, it's the white, and I agree. I mean, Ira was, it's the white that's just, yep.
It's
I
it's an
personally-
interesting picture. I love all the lines of the lifeguard house.
I think it has value. It's a nice picture. Jupiter Lighthouse. Yeah. It's crooked. Drop the right side. I can
All right,
tell.
there's two of these. Hold on for 1 second. Okay. This was the one she showed in the review session. People
Right.
made comments and she did this.
Oh, that's nice.
Go back to the other one. Me personally, I would crop a little bit off the left and let's see how it looks, but I would keep the right in there with those pilings, but I would drop them. It's crooked.
But I straightened according to the lighthouse.
Now, well, there you go with the
Yeah.
lens correction again. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I got you, Doris. I hear you. All right, so then eliminate that.
Right. So crop this even more to get rid of this dead.
Get rid of the dead stuff, just a shade, but same thing, Doris, you got a thing I'm noticing about shadows are too dark. You see the shadows back behind the woods, you're losing detail. I don't know what's behind the woods, and maybe the dark is okay, but the trees and the foliage over there to the right is a little, no, don't take that white building
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Building's gotta stay. It needs to take the shadows up on the foliage in the center, in the middle of the picture. You
This
need to
whole
bring,
area.
you need to bring that up a little bit, to bring your shadows up.
All right.
Try the dodge and burn thing.
I made it darker
Okay,
because I like dark.
right.
I've noticed that that's something that you do, so that's why I said this is becoming a thing for me with what you do. So I think it's, when you lose detail, and you see the little detail in it, it's kind of, so I'm gonna ask now, does all the water on the bottom have value? And does all the top have value?
I took off sky already. You want me to take off more
I
sky?
know. So wait, so now what I'm looking at, Adrian, take the rocks away from the right. Yep, keep coming, be aggressive. Keep coming, right there, come up to there. Now, let's just look at this for a minute. This is why I say, you can always look, Doris, and you can back up again, but you can always look. If you increase your shadows in there and bring up the foliage, yes, you've lost a little bit on the water, but you still have all those rocks on the bottom. You have less water, less sky, and your focus now goes to the middle ground and the lighthouse. So you have to play with this. It comes down to what your vision is. First, play with your shadows, then play with all your crops.
Okay.
Okay,
Doris, I like it cropped like this.
I do too. But I would definitely say that it's got to come up with the shadows. That's all.
All right, ladies. Oh, this is
That was-
Adrian, first,
Yeah.
thank you very much for everything you did today. That was terrific. So
You're welcome.
thank you
There's
for all the-
there's a few more. I'm gonna go through them so that Eileen has a chance. This is adorable. These birds.
Sure,
that is
Eileen?
adorable.
No, this is Doris's last one.
Okay,
Oh, I
Doris,
thought we saw that with Donna.
Doris, I'm going to say something, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think this is a good picture that will score well for you.
Okay.
because I don't know what was your aperture setting? I'm looking to see.
4.6.
Aperture was 4.4. Okay, or 4.5, that's what I'm saying. So what happened was you nailed the bird on the left, but the other bird was closer to you in the foreground.
Yeah.
And that bird lost all its detail. And
I
to
see that.
To me, it just screams, no, don't put it in,
Okay.
right? Ira, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I completely agree with you.
All right, let me hear the shooting gallery say something.
I
don't mean to
completely
be
agree.
aggressive, But I know that Doris and Eileen are both advanced photographers, and they both have to move to another level with critique. Okay,
Eileen.
yeah, well, both are.
No, this is Eileen's. I'm saying this is Eileen's image.
Oh, okay, I got it. These are new. All right.
Yeah.
It's crooked.
I kind of had a feeling that the mentoring would be, I have a variety of stuff I put in, I'm forgetting that now, but like this was gonna be a creative. It has a canvas, now it doesn't matter.
Eileen, this is all going in general, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's crooked. Let's fix the crooked.
How do I fix the crooked though? Because if I go this way,
Go to where
then-
the water levels are. The water levels tell you everything. The water levels don't lie. No, you had it. You had
Really?
it. Go back. Go back. There it is. That's right. That's perfect. So now, Eileen, are these 11 by 14?
Yeah,
Okay. Is all of the information on the right? Is it needed? Is it valued information? Can you lose any of it? Does it make a difference to the picture? And can you lose a little to the left?
I suppose the right would be better.
Okay.
And perhaps a little to the left where I don't have the grass.
So here's my thing. Look at the information on the bottom now that you're left with. Right, Adrian, move it up. But that's the problem, is the top and the bottom don't offer anything. So crop it more aggressively, Adrian. Go for it.
Mhm.
Not too much. I like those reeds in there. Yeah, a
Yeah.
little more. A little more. Okay, now crop from the left side to where the edge of those reeds are. Now, move. Let's go up and down a little bit. And let's see what we got. Maybe too much. Right to the bottom of those weeds. Up a little more. Down. That would be my crop of it.
Yeah.
You have information that is of no value in the picture. So you need to look at what really can be eliminated that would not make a difference to the picture. It's a painterly look. You were going to put this in creative. I can tell it's creative. It's got a look and a filter. It's very nice. And you might want to do a little more contrast with it, Adrian, maybe, perhaps, but it's very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the color palette.
I do too. I also
like the
like,
greens
I
and the
like the
yellows.
reflection. I like the reflection. I like the greens. I like the golds, tones. It's very pretty.
I made it a drop darker to add to the reflection. This is without,
Perfect.
and this is a little drop darker.
Perfect.
Because it made this all richer and more detailed. I like it.
Doris, you're thinking.
What? I'm thinking.
I'm asking for your opinion. What do you think?
Oh, I like it. I like it a little darker.
I am going to go back and forth between the two of you. Why? Because you're both in advanced, and you both should be able to play off each other in terms of what your feelings are. So, which is what I do with others in all of our critiques. We play, and it's a little tougher, but okay. So let's go. It's good. Ooh.
See, now this, I didn't know if judges would like that. It's a mannequin, but I turned it from
Eileen.
Beige mannequin to
Eileen.
Yeah.
Do you love the picture?
Do I love it? I like it better when I don't have the blue and yellow. But then
I have a
taking
question though.
picture of
Isn't this just a
mannequin.
picture of somebody else's art? Like
So
a
here's
sculpture?
my
A
thinking.
museum
All
of
right.
mannequins.
Now, so here's, and we discussed this earlier also when it happened, was something that I think that Harvey sent me. And here it goes, because in the order photography in my group, I see a ton of mannequin double exposures or mannequin not double exposures or mannequin minimalistic exposures, simplistic. I see mannequins everywhere. Now, to me, a mannequin is, you could assume it's a sculpture in somebody else's artwork, but a mannequin necessarily isn't that. If you move the mannequin, you place the mannequin, you can manipulate the mannequin, you can dress the mannequin, so you can change the mannequin. When you're looking at this, you can't change it because it's somebody else's artwork. However, if you apply a filter and take an isolated part of it and get a shadow in it or do something different to it to make it your own and make it different than what it was in its original format, and you can make it creative, then that changes the picture of it. I don't know what this originally was, Eileen. I don't know if it was originally blue and yellow. To me, it's interesting, and I think it falls within the realm of you've artistically and creatively manipulated it so it is not like the original. Am I correct?
Well, just the colors.
Doesn't matter.
Well, the colors enhanced it. The
Yeah,
colors
right.
changed it.
The colors enhance it, but the colors are probably totally different than what they were.
Yeah.
Right.
Can,
So
can I,
if-
ask- can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Ann, so how is this picture, who you're saying was an artist created the form of this mannequin? What about the picture that, and I don't forget, I don't remember who did the dinosaurs already. Now that's a picture of someone else's artwork, but it has the people in it.
That's what makes the difference. And
Right.
the people are in it. It's a landscape and it's storytelling.
Right,
It's
right.
people looking at the dinosaurs. It's people, it's a whole different look. This to me, I don't know what the original was, but if it's very different from its original color, you might, I mean, if you wanted to really be careful about this. Now, the shadow in the back, did you get that out of Topaz, or was that behind it?
Oh, no. The shadows were there.
Okay, so my thing is, you could turn it black and white, you could leave it a different color, or you could crop it and take a little bit off the leg. And you could try to make it a little bit more isolated. It becomes a very touchy-feely thing about what's acceptable. I have some of these and I've had to really refrain from using them, but I know David is, and I wish David was still here because
he
David
collects
is the king
mannequins.
of mannequins. the
Right.
king Of mannequins. But he does isolate the mannequin, or he puts them in situations and adds something else in a composite to it. What was the original? Was it black and white?
No, it's like real. They look alive.
Well, I
Well,
don't
this doesn't look alive.
No,
this doesn't
yeah.
look real.
The
This doesn't
color,
look
the
alive.
color of flesh. I think.
Eileen, my gut reaction is this is borderline, but I would say it's acceptable. I mean, that's
I agree.
okay.
I agree too.
It's acceptable. You have made it your own. So I wouldn't touch it.
Okay.
For us, I don't know if I would put it into a lens culture or something like that.
Right.
No, because then you're
But
gonna
for our
get
show.
tacky about somebody. Somebody will recognize the sculpture, right?
Right, yeah, yeah,
Right,
no.
right.
So what is
Right,
this?
so
a
this
zebra?
is your
That was a
Abstract.
question.
Go ahead.
This was the question that I asked way back when we started talking and ended up into saying we're not going to do creative.
Right.
I flipped this from the reflection in the water. I didn't do anything to it except crop just that reflection that was in the water.
Beautiful.
So Eileen, my first question is, and if you turned it the other way, you'd have water to the right, you'd have the reflection to the left. Okay. So I need to see which way I'd like this, but I would say to you that to the right, to me, I like that better, and I would crop off the bottom.
Actually, it was in my picture that way, but I had my camera.
It's just, I'm just throwing something out.
Okay, so
I-
it's an abstract for sure.
I understand. So bring it up, Adrian, and let's see what we lose. Okay, yeah, that's what I would do. And then move it more right, just a touch. All you need is a little bit of water. Don't make it half. So bring it back. More, right to there. Crop it out and see what you get. That's an option for you, okay?
I disagree a little bit. I would like that bottom right part. I'd like to see the whole thing.
Okay. Well, I mean, and again, I'm gonna say that we're throwing out things for you to play with.
Look at look how it looks darker. This is the original.
All right, now go back to the crop that Ira said he liked better, which was the whole thing.
No, not the whole thing, just a little bit more on the right bottom. Just take that bottom a little bit right, yeah.
So
See, to me, that was a volcano.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it wasn't.
it doesn't matter what it is to you. What matters is to the viewer, are we
Like
interested?
that.
And I don't like that nearly as much as I like the other crop.
Yeah, this, yes, I agree. This little
it-
piece of water is not doing anything.
No, so I honestly like it a lot. But you gotta bring it more over, you gotta bring it right. You can't cut the tip off.
That's my point.
Yeah, you can't cut that tip off. I agree with Ira, you can't let that
Either
go.
that or cut it off completely.
No,
I
I
like
like
it
it.
this
I
way.
like the thing. So, but the point is, Eileen, this is for you to play with. We're
Yeah.
giving you ideas and things. I think it is a wonderful isolated abstract of water reflection. Period. The end. It works great.
Thank you.
You just figure out your crop, and Adrian upped the shadows a little bit. She made it a little darker. She gave it a little bit more saturation, okay? A little more dark. Okay?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Why is he so glowy?
Does anybody
Yeah.
else have a thought about this picture?
Too light.
It could crop in closer on the alligator.
The whole top has
All right,
gotta
so I'm
go.
gonna ask Eileen the question. Eileen,
Yes.
does the bottom part of all this around here to the left, does it have value?
It has greenery.
Well, if you wanna have the viewer focus in on the alligator, do you want them to focus in on the greenery and the rocks on the bottom? So I'm saying crop it out so that we go to the alligator. That's the first thing.
Okay, I'll tell you my thought, and maybe it's wrong, and that's the kind of mentoring I need. My thought was, he is there looking for his lunch. So I was going to give a title of waiting for
Oh.
lunch or looking for lunch.
All right, crop this out.
Eileen, I think he's smiling. He already had his lunch.
Or that, yeah.
So Eileen, now with all his teeth showing, you don't think he's ready for lunch? Okay, so that, to me, you had a lot over here. I might bring more over on the right side, Adrian. I think it's too cropped. I like some of the rocks over there. Okay. Bring it down a little more, bring it up, but bring it up a little bit. There we go. Now we have the rocks, so I like some of those rocks. Now, what are we gonna do about the fact that he's, Eileen, you know how to do this in Lightroom. Take the highlights down. Look at your histogram. I have a feeling that the nose of the alligator and some of his lines on his back are too lit up.
Lit up.
They're overexposed. They're a little too bright.
And I
The
made it darker, but it's not darkness. It's highlights that are the problem. So
Right. And
just make it darker. They're still highlighted. Look at that. That
Right.
just shows you.
yeah, you don't want to touch the shadows. You just want to
Right.
bring your highlights down in Lightroom. You know how to do that.
Yeah. Okay, that looks nice.
All right, for good draw. Next.
Okay, and that's the last image.
Yay, to make dinner.
Adrian,
Thank
you were
you.
great, and you were great. Thank you.
I'm
Great.
gonna
Thank
say
you, everybody.
Marty,
Thank you.
Ira, Nancy, everyone.
Okay, I hope everybody learned something.
Definitely, it was definitely
worth it.
Good.
Adrian, when we hang up, can you call me for a 30-second call?
Sure, Ira, no problem.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay, guys,
All
thank
done?
you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Enjoy
Thank
your
you.
evening.
Bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye all.